Hello everyone. Before we start the spark plug change, we need several tools in order to complete this job. You'll need a pair of gloves to protect your hands from getting dirty and also scratched up. And you also need a couple of pliers. On the right, you'll see I have 3 pliers, and this will help you remove the clamps from the hoses. And then you also need a 10 millimeter wrench to unplug the negative terminal of the battery. And you also need some kind of tray. I chose to buy the 6-inch magnetic tray to hold all the screws. And then you also need an extension, a 10-inch extension or some long extension so you can grab the spark plugs. And this 10-inch extension really helped me with this job. And I have another extension that I use, a 6-inch. And then also you'll need a 3-inch, you can use a 3/8-inch ratchet. And I also bought a new tool. This is the magnetic pickup telescoping tool. This helps with picking up the loose screws that fall to the ground under the engine or somewhere in the engine area. I hope that doesn't happen to you. And I also decided to buy a magnetic socket. It's a 5/8 inch socket or 16 millimeter for our spark plugs. That will help a lot. And I also have the screwdriver here and another looks like about a 3-inch extension for a 3/8 adapter. And I have the 8 millimeter socket and a 10 millimeter socket and another adapter for these sockets that we have. And then of course you'll need the set of spark plugs, 6 of them, so you have 2 extra boxes, 2 extra spark plugs here, and then 4 in one box here. And it's the PLF R5A-11, and it's the NGK laser platinum double tip, and it's the OEM. Okay, all right, once you have all that, you're ready to go. One more item, you'll need a torque wrench if you want to precisely torque the spark plugs at 18 feet-pounds. Or you can follow the directions on the NGK carton how to tighten the spark plug. It's up to you. And the recommended interval to change the spark plugs is it's at 105,000 miles. On my car, I already have 111,500 miles, so I'm just going to change it now. Hello everyone, this is the 2003 Infiniti G35 spark plugs change video, and I just wanted to introduce you to the parts of the engine before you start taking off the spark plug. So what we have here is the air duct system, and that's the first thing. Well, the first thing you want to do is remove the negative terminal from your battery. So that's number 1. After you've done that, then you can proceed to remove your air duct system. You can start with the air inlet. Just take off the 2 screws here. Just pop that out. Easy to pop out. And then unscrew this 10 millimeter screw. And then unscrew this 10 millimeter as well that connects to the air intake. And you want to remove your MAF sensor here. So once you remove that, just fold that over here. And then you want to remove the hose here. Use your needle nose pliers to unclamp it, and then remove the hose as well. And then you want to remove also this 8 millimeter, unscrew it, loosen it enough so that it becomes loose, so you can take off the air intake duct here from the throttle body. Okay. And part of the engine also is the wire harness. This is going to get in your way, especially here with the spark plugs on the left bank. This is the left bank, and the numbers of the spark plug here are number 2, number 4, and number 6. 6 being closest to the driver's side. And on this side is the right bank, and the spark plugs here are going to be number 1, number 3, and number 5. 5 being closest to the passenger side. So this wire harness is in the way of your spark plug, so you'll have to remove the mounting brackets that are in the way. So you take out that screw, and then you can also loosen, if you want to save all the zip ties that are attached to the mounting brackets, you can just pinch off the back side in here with your pliers and then loosen that up. And this is the PCV hose here, right here. It connects to the PCV valve. So you want to just go ahead and use your needle nose pliers to unclamp it to loosen it up and take off the hose. Okay, and you'll want to loosen this up as well, these 2 screws, the ground wire, and probably just one more ground screw here. Okay, and you'll do the same thing here on the inside. Each spark ignition coil will have a mounting bracket, or I believe almost all of them have one, and you'll just need to unloosen the screw, and they're all 10 millimeters as well, so that makes it easy. Here's the spark plug number 1. It's right underneath this the PCV valve, as you can tell, and there's the screw that's attached with the ignition coil, spark plug ignition coil. So you'll just unscrew that. It's 10 millimeters as well. And then all these gray plastic sensors are also attached to the ignition coil. You'll need to detach that, and if it's something is in the way as well, just detach it, like this one, this blue. And there's another bracket here at the bottom on number 3 spark plug. So just get things out of the way so you can reach the ignition coil, and loosen up the screw as well, right about there. I don't know if you could see that. And here's spark plug number 5. There's the screw with the ignition coil, and then you can also loosen up this hose if you like, unclamp it and just remove it, so you can have more room to remove the ignition coil and also the spark plug. Okay, all right. As you replace each spark plug with the new spark plug, make sure you assess the previous spark plug for any oil residue. As you can tell from the previous picture, I had some oil residue on the spark plug threads, especially on number 5, number 6, number 4, and number 2. But it's not a lot as compared to others who had oil pooling in their spark plug wells. So for me, I'm just gonna monitor it quarterly, the amount of spark plugs, the amount of oil on the spark plugs, and if I deem it's necessary to make some changes, then this means I have to replace the valve cover and the valve cover gasket on each side. And that's a costly repair because each valve cover on average costs about $300 unless you get a better deal, and it'll cost also an additional labor if you have it done by the dealership or by someone else. So you may be looking at about $1,000 job there. And my spark plugs did actually well. This is the first spark plug change, and it occurred about 111,500 miles. So those spark plugs did really well. And before you start the car, make sure you have all your plastic sensors for each spark plug, and any additional spark plugs that are blue or green, and the MAF sensors are completely secured, and they snapped on to their receptors, because if you start the car and one of them may not be connected, it will cause your service engine soon light to turn on, and that may cost you money to find out what's the problem, and also to have it reset or turned off. So just double check or triple check all your sensors before you start your engine. All right, I hope that all those tips helps you, and if you like the video, please click on like, and also you can subscribe. And this is my first video, so I hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next job. Bye.